So much of woodworking these days is done with expensive power tools that make a lot of noise and dust, but they are fast and efficient, and so you can get the job done really quickly. But sometimes you just have to ask yourself, what's the hurry? I mean, if this is a hobby, then why do we try to just rush through everything? Sometimes it's nice to just enjoy the process. And one way to do that is to just unplug and do something by hand. Take mortises, for example. Believe it or not, these are really easy to cut with a chisel instead of using an expensive domino machine or a fiddly dowel jig. Just give me 5 minutes to walk you through this process, and you're not going to believe how simple and satisfying this can be. First, let's talk chisels. You can absolutely create a mortise with a regular beveled edge chisel. You don't have to buy anything special to do this. If you're going to use a regular beveled edge chisel though, I really think it's easier to use a Forstner bit to remove much of your waste. And I have another video about that which I'm going to link to below. Here's another kind of chisel that you might already have. Instead of beveled edges, it has square edges. It's also a bit thicker, and the cutting edge is usually ground a little bit steeper. This is called a firmer chisel, and it's made to take more of a pounding. Mine is fairly new, but you see firmer chisels a lot in antique shops and at flea markets. If you have one of these, you can chop a mortise in hardwood just as you're going to see me demonstrate in this video. I'll tell the differences as we go along, but the process is going to be pretty much the same. Now, I personally prefer a more traditional mortising chisel. These are a little harder to find in antique shops, but they are around. I see these sold on eBay sometimes called pig stickers. You can imagine why. You can also get a new one fairly inexpensively. I'll link to mine below. Now this just makes the job a joy, as you're going to see. Notice how it's really thick and robust, so you can chop on this and you can pry in the hardest wood all day long. The edges also help guide the chisel so it doesn't twist as I drive it into the wood. And the bevel is extra steep, about 35 degrees, so it can really hold up to the work without dulling. Once you've chosen your chisel, you have to lay out your mortise's location. You can absolutely do this with just a pencil and a square. I prefer a traditional mortising gauge because I can set it to match the thickness, or the width rather, of my chisel, and then I can mark both sides of the mortise at once. Again, you don't need one of those. It's just handy to have. Now, in the old days, the width of the mortise was usually determined simply by the width of the chisel that you had on hand. Folks didn't have whole sets of these. They just had one or two, and then every mortise they chopped would be, let's say, a ½ inch wide, as my chisel happens to be. Then they would simply cut the tenon in the mating workpiece to match their chisel. Easy peasy. But before we chop, we need to have some ground rules. First, we're going to stay about 1/8 of an inch away from the ends of the mortise until the very end, and you're going to see why shortly. Also, try to keep the chisel from tipping right or left as you chop downward. Forward and back is fine, but not side to side, or your mortise isn't going to be straight. It's another reason I like traditional mortising chisels. They're extra long, so I can stand behind them and sight down, and that'll help me to keep them straight as I work. Finally, the depth of your mortise is not an exact science. I like to actually be a little too deep rather than too shallow. So I'll add like 1/8 of an inch to the depth that I want, and I'll mark it on my chisel with a Sharpie or a piece of tape, just so I have a rough idea on how deep I'm going. The first cut is made with the back of the chisel facing my body and the bevel facing away from me. I'm starting a little bit away from the end of the mortise, as I mentioned earlier. Then I give the chisel a whack with the mallet. Now, I'm not trying to pound the full depth all at once. I'm just doing a little bit. You may have noticed that as the chisel sunk into the wood, the bevel was forcing the tool back toward me a little bit. It's going to do that every time. It's the nature of that steep bevel. That's why I didn't start right at the end of the mortise. I'll come back later and I'll clean up those ends after I get rid of most of the waste. Now I move the chisel about 1/8 of an inch forward and I take another bite. You may have noticed it went a little deeper this time, even though I didn't hit it any harder. In fact, each time I advance the tool and take another bite, it's going to go a little bit deeper than the last bite. What's happening is as that steep bevel is forcing the chisel back towards me, it's also shearing off the fibers in the hole behind it. I can even begin levering those chips out as I go. Another thing that's happening is the large flat sides of the chisel are keeping it from twisting so much as I drive it in. It's not completely steering it because the sides aren't perfectly square. They have a little bit of a taper so the tool doesn't jam in the hole. But it's so much easier, I think, to keep a traditional mortising chisel like this from twisting as I chop than a regular bench chisel. I stop chopping just short of the far end so I don't smash those fibers as I lever out my chips from the bottom of the mortise. Then I turn the tool around, or I reposition the workpiece, so I can start again from that end. Because I've already moved a lot of the waste in the center, my chisel isn't going to be forced backward anymore, and so I can pare straight down on my end lines this time. Now remember how each cut went a little bit deeper? That means that the bottom of the mortise is sloped and rough at this point. So I've got to work back in the opposite direction to remove the rest of that waste up to my original starting point. And I'm done. I spent a little extra time explaining what was happening in this video, but the actual process is surprisingly fast. In fact, if you just have a few mortises to do, like most projects are, I think hand chopping is actually faster than setting up a lot of power tools like a router. And the result is a straight mortise of consistent depth that already has square corners that are ready to receive your tenon. If you want to know how to cut your tenons, I have a video about that too that I'll link to below. I'll also link to the relatively inexpensive mortising chisels that I use if you want to try one of those out. They're made by a century-old company in Eastern Europe, and they're sold by a small business here in Missouri. Speaking of small businesses, now is a good time to check out empowertools.com. They're the makers of that really clever router base that you've seen me use for years. It's called the CRB7. It completely transformed my router into like a super joinery machine. Well, Empower is also where I get my diamond sharpening gear. And pretty much everything on their site is 20% off right now. That's a big deal. You're going to save a ton of money on stuff you may have been waiting for because you might not have had the budget to pay full price. Well, now is the time. As I said, Empower is a great small business. I've really got to know them over the years we've worked together. They're just good people with great ideas that they've turned into fantastic products. So check them out while everything is on sale. See you next time.